holiday season, I thought I would come in and do a couple of little lessons on some things that I think are very important. I'm not going to try to spend a whole lot of time, but it's going to take a little time to get this out. Holiday season is coming up. We got a couple of my brothers that are going to do classes here shortly on the holidays. I've had some conversations with some people in my family as it pertains to holidays and how they feel about holidays, how I feel about holidays. And it's funny that a lot of this holiday nonsense is non-negotiable with a lot of Christians. It's funny to me. It's funny to me for it to be a religious holiday, how much they don't really want to get into the Bible about it. Because if you got into the Bible about it, you'd understand that these holidays are not for us. So it's really a sticky subject with certain people in my circle. Not gonna ever, to believe in God and in certain ways the Bible, they want to ignore 75 to 80% of the Bible to adhere to pagan stuff. If we said that they were worshiping the devil, then they would be mad. But vicariously, that's what you're doing. If you're not dealing with the Bible in the way you're supposed to, and you're dealing with Christ in a way that you're not supposed to, you're really showing honor to an antichrist, because God doesn't appreciate any of it. So just like me and the brothers always talk about, where do you get your God from? And really, do you believe in the Bible? And I think that a lot of people want to say that they believe in the Bible, when in all actuality, they don't. And if they do, they don't care, because they worship themselves more than they worship what the scriptures say. But the brother's going to get into a holiday class in that regard. Second thing I want to talk about is these unprovoked attacks. When I'm on Facebook, I see a lot of people actually saying, they think they're saying anti-Christian things. They think that they're being cute when they say anti-Christian things. And it seems like it comes from nowhere. I don't know what they're doing in their personal life, and I really don't care what they're doing in their personal life. But it always seems like they want to attack Christ or attack Jesus, and they think because they're being cute that they're attacking Christianity and the belief in a God. That's how I know the Bible's real. This is how I know that God is real. This is how I know that Jesus is real, because these unprovoked attacks on the Bible and Christ himself is weird. To say that Jesus is fake. When somebody comes up online and says that Jesus is not real, either they haven't picked up a book, haven't read history, they totally ignore the artifacts and everything else that are over there in Jerusalem, or they're just demonic. Pick whatever. But these unprovoked attacks on Christ himself and the veracity of the Bible is somebody who's never picked up a book, who doesn't know anything about secular history or anything else. They're too worried about drinking, chasing hoes, and trying to say witty stuff on on Facebook. It's funny to me. If you don't believe in God, then just shut the hell up. Because I'm really about that smoke when it comes to these scriptures. And as corny as people think it is, Bible thumping, as soon as you start talking about truth in the Bible as it pertains to truth in secular history, they don't want to hear common sense. They don't. So if you don't want to think anywhere past the front of your nose, then you can continue to be ignorant. It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. You believe in science. You believe in astrology. You're out there throwing up Aries and talking about Cancer and, astronomy and astrology and all that zodiac sign nonsense. You think that's real, but you say that there's a God out there that's dealing with us in a certain way, and They can't deal with that. It's because they don't want to be held to any real standard at all. So that's where I'm at with that. These clowns. Israel is funny to me sometimes. But with all that being said, shalom, shalom, however you want to say it, it's Shalom Shabbat. It's the Sabbath today, and I'm gonna do a quick little fun giddy up about angels, because I think it's pretty interesting how we deal with the topic of angels. So let's get started here with so what are angels, right? What are angels? Angels are sometimes the messengers for God. Angels, they interact with us. They're supposed to have protective entities. They're created by God. They're around us. They assist the Most High in doing his work, and they're mentioned throughout the Bible. But I'm not going to get too deep. I'm going to stay at my depth with this today. I tried to attempt this the other day, and I wasn't prepared at all to even talk about it. But I want to talk about, quite honestly, the idea of how angels were taught to us and what angels really are in the scriptures. And it's gonna be really quick, but I want to give you an idea of how things are and why they work the way they work in this world. So let's first go to Ezekiel 10, and it goes pretty far down where it actually talks about what angels look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you real quick so that you can see the scripture that I'm talking about. And it's Ezekiel 10. So as we read, I'll pop in and out and let you know what's going on. So just so you know, we're on King James Bible Online.org. This is my favorite site to look up scriptures real fast. So what are we looking at? Ezekiel chapter 10, starting at verse 1. Then I looked, and behold, in the firmament that was above the head of the cherubims. Cherubims are a type of angel. We all know that, and I'll show you something a little bit later on that. There appeared over them, as it were, a sapphire stone, as the appearance of the likeness of a throne. Okay, so it looked like a throne. I'm going to kind of breeze over this a little bit. And he spake unto the man clothed in linen and said, Go in between the wheels, even under the cherub, which is an angel, and fill thine hand with the coals of fire from between the cherubims, and scatter them over the city. And he went in my sight. All right. So this is basically Ezekiel's talking about an interaction that they're having with angels in the scriptures. Okay. So now I'm not going to read all of this, but let's talk about some of the attributes of these cherubims. And the sound of the cherubims' wings was heard even to the outer court, as the voice of the Almighty God when he speaketh. So they have wings. So we know they have wings, right? We all knew that angels had wings, and we knew that these cherubim have wings as well. And then it talked a little bit here, and then it talks about the wings. And there appeared in the cherubim's form of a man's hand under their wings. There we go with the wings again. So here we go. And when I looked, behold, the four wheels by the cherubims, one wheel by one cherub, and another wheel by another cherub. And the appearance of the wheels was the color of beryl stone. I'm not sure what that color is, but we know that there's wheels and angels. All right, I'm getting there, guys. Let's be a little patient with me, okay? So right here's another. It says, and their whole body and their backs and their hands and their wings and the wheels were full of eyes round about, even the wheels that they four had. So now we're talking about wheels with eyes. Keep that in mind, because I'm gonna touch on that. Okay. As for the wheels, it was cried unto them in my hearing, saying, O wheel. Not sure what that means. Staying at my depth. All right. So now on chapter 10, Ezekiel chapter 10 and 14 is when we'll start talking about the description of these cherubims, these angels. So, and every one, these cherubims, had four faces. The first face was the face of a cherub, which is an angel. And the second face was the face of a man, whatever that means, okay? And the third face of a lion, wow. And the fourth face of an eagle. So these creatures, these entities, had four faces. One of a cherub, one of a man, the third of a lion, and the fourth of an eagle, right? And the cherubims were lifted. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Chabar. So he saw this living creature, a real thing, right? And when the cherubims went to the wheels, went by them, and when the cherubims lifted up their wings to mount up from the earth, the same wheels also turned, not from beside them. So they lifted up into these wheels with eyes. Keep that in mind, right? And when they stood, these stood, and when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also, for the spirit of the living creature was in them. So there's some symbiotic thing going on right here, right? And then it says the cherubs were lifted up their wings and mounted from the earth in my sight. And when they went out, the wheels also were beside them. And everyone stood at the door of the east gate of the Lord's house, and the glory of the God of Israel was over them above in the sky, right? This is the living creature that I saw under the God of Israel by the river of Chabar. And I knew that they were the cherubims. And I knew that they were the cherubims. So everyone had four faces apiece, and every one four wings. And the likeness of the hands of a man was under their wings. The cherubims had all of this. So these are angels, because we know that cherubim is an angel. We can actually look that up. So let's go and look that up. Just so you know that I'm not just talking out the side of my neck or making up stuff. So we'll go to Google, because this is how people get smart in the world, right? And we'll say, what is a cherubim? A cherubim. I'm spelling it wrong, but you know how we do. A cherubim. See right here? Maybe I can make this bigger. We'll see. There we go. A cherub, right? Look right here. It says cherubim. A winged angelic being described in biblical tradition as attending on God. It is represented in the ancient Middle Eastern art as a lion or bull with eagle's wings and a human face. Look at that. And regarded in traditional Christian angelology as an angel of the second highest order of the ninefold celestial hierarchy. Right? So we know that when they're talking about cherubims, right? Cherubims in Ezekiel, they're talking about angels. Right? So now that we're there, now that we understand that, now that we get that, let's go and look at some pictures of what people think angels actually look like. Okay? So here are I'm going to show you, hold on, let me go back. I'm going to show you some things that I think are pretty funny. It's funny to me. So when we think of angels, this is what we think about, right? Here's a depiction, right, of what people think that angels actually look like. Amazing to me, right? Does that look like an angel that they've described in the scriptures? Look at that. No, that is not an angel that they described in the scriptures. Not at all. Let's go to another one. Here's another one. Here's a very popular one. Here's a very popular one right here. Right? The pretty little white kid. They're pretty little white kid. This is what you think when people die. This is where they go. They become these people. These are the ones that are flying around us. Here are the cherubims, according to popular society. Does that have 4 faces and with animals? No. No. Here's another one. This is the way, this is back in the day. Back in the day. This is, little white redhead kids now. Up in the clouds doing something on a desk. I don't know what the hell they are right there. Their little wings and stuff, I don't see no 4 faces. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, here's another old school joint. A little androgyny here. We don't know if that's a man or a woman. What are all angels women? They taught us this one. Here's another one. I don't see no 4 faces. Little wings, just little white wings. Look like the little white guy over here. Hilarious. Hilarious. Here's a little one right here. This is what when people, when they say that people die, they go and they get their wings. Sitting on a little cute picture, a little white girl. Kicking it on a cloud. And that's what they think their loved ones will do when they die. Get their wings and go up there. Amazing to me. Nowhere near, not anywhere near what Ezekiel 10 says. Not anywhere near. Ezekiel 10 says something totally different. Totally different. Right? So let's look at some other pictures. But this time, let's look at some pictures that kind of resemble what angels are supposed to actually look like. Word? Let's do that. This is going to resemble Ezekiel 10. Right? So, let's start. I'll start here. Let's start here. Let's look at this one. Let's see what this one looks like. So these are depictions. Now, this is more of what Ezekiel 10 says a cherubim actually looks like, right? I don't know how accurate that really is, but this is a far more accurate depiction of an angel than what you're seeing, what you saw before, what they taught us. That's a cherubim, right? Let's go to the next one. Let's see what this other one says, what the other one looks like. Now, of course, we know that Ezekiel wasn't white, but we'll go with this. And we know that angels ain't white either, but we won't get into that. But this is more of what a cherubim would look like. Scary. Real scary. Frightening. Ezekiel, Bible, cherubim, angels. Right? We read that. Right? 4 wings. Eyes on something. Talked about eyes. Let's go to the next one. Let me see if I can do this differently. No, we'll just do it this way. Let's look at this one. Monstrous. Look at the faces there. Look at the different faces. Look at the wings. Right? Look. That's a depiction of an angel. Scary. Real scary. Not cute. Not cute at all. Let's go here. Let's see this one. Look at this. Look at this. Eyes and wings and faces and scary. Scary. More along the lines of Ezekiel. Right? Let's see what this one says. Or what it looks like. Excuse me. Let's get a bit closer. Cherubim. Ooh, look at this. This is some anime nonsense, it looks like. Cherubim. This is what Ezekiel said. It's even got a wheel in here with eyes on it. Look at that. Scary. Scary looking. Cherubims. Angels. Here's another one. I'm giving it to you raw, man. I'm giving it to you raw and correct. Here's another one. A little more abstract. Still frightening. Even though you can't see it that well, but look at it. Huh? Look at this one. Look at this. It's not totally accurate, but it's close. It's closer than the white cherubim cuties. Got the eyes on the wings. Right? See what the next one is. Look at this. Look at this. This is more in line with what Ezekiel says. Huh? See if there's another one. Here's another one. Here's an old school one. This is an old school joint. This is, you got the white folks in there, which ain't right. But look, you got the wheels with the eyes and the cherubim, right? Angels. Look at all of that. With the hands. They even got the hands in there that they was talking about under the wings. Come on, people. Get your head out of your fourth point of contact. So look at this one. I'm giving it to you all. I'm giving you all of it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these depictions. Look at that. Look at the wheel with the eyes. The wheel with the eyes. Look at this. It looks like there's even somebody in there. See that right there? I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. This is more in line with Ezekiel. I'm gonna give you a real. Is this one? Let me see what this one is. Did I show y'all this one already? Let me show you this one. Here's another one. Now they've taken the faces, they put it above, but this is more in line with the Bible. More in line with the Bible. Right? I'm gonna show you this really creepy one. This one threw me off a little bit. Check this one out. Look at this one over here. Look at that. With his little hand and everything. Then they got part of the wheel here with the eyes on it. If you can see that. Look at that. Look at that. Imagine running into that. That's crazy. It looks like some Geiger art. The guy who did the Alien movies. Imagine running into that. And that's God's creation. He works for God. Come on now. Come on now. We got to get our minds right. We got to get our minds right. We got to understand what we're dealing with here. Now, you're asking yourselves, why is Darrell going through all of this? Why is he showing us all of this? Right? Why is he showing us all of this? Because this is real business. Because this is real business in the way that, listen, they are definitely up to something. If you don't think that the enemy is out here trying to prepare us for something, I did a video back in the day. If you go to originalmanconcepts.com and look at the video I made about getting ready to fight Jesus, it all makes sense to me. So if you believe in angels, you got to believe in demons, right? And if you believe in the Bible, you got to believe that these prophecies are going to come true, that Jesus is going to come back with a legion of angels to take on the powers that be. You got to believe that if you believe in the Bible at all. The Bible says Jesus is coming back. Everybody who's not right is going to catch a fade with the angels, right? So we have to understand why. Why are they saying that the angels look at one way outside the Bible, right? And they actually look another way, which is they look more horrible and monstrous in the scriptures. Just like I said in my video, and you can put your tinfoil yarmulke on if you want. But look, I'm telling you that I believe that they're trying to get you ready to fight. You're not going to fight Jesus if you really know what Jesus looks like. If Jesus cracks that sky open and you know that's Jesus, most of you are not going to try to fight Jesus. But the enemy's so arrogant that they really truly believe they can fight a God. And actually, they're going to try to enlist us to help them fight the Hamashiach. So if the sky cracks open and that Messiah doesn't look like you thought he looked, and those hosts of angels don't look like white women, androgynous women with wings coming down with harps or whatever, if they don't look like that, you're going to say alien invasion. We got to fight them. That's why. Think about the movies they put out, guys. Think about any alien invasion movie you ever saw. Most of the time, these aliens have no goodwill for us. And be honest with you, when Jesus comes back, he's not going to have a whole lot of goodwill with anybody anyway. He's coming back to destroy a lot of stuff. He's not coming back with whistling. He's not going to be whistling the Andy Griffith song. You know, he's coming down. He's not hugging nobody. He's not throwing roses around. He's coming down to kill a lot of people. And the enemy, who I think believes they can fight him, they're going to try to enlist us to help fight an alien invasion. Independence Day. Think about that. Anything that comes out of that sky, they're going to try to fight it. Let me show you some images. Let me show you what I'm talking about here, okay? Let's talk about it. We're all familiar with this type of stuff. I mean, we see this type of stuff all the time in the movies, right? So we see stuff like this. We see stuff like this all the time. Hold on. Let me let it catch up here. We see stuff like this all the time. Alien invasion. Our cities are being attacked. Right? Being attacked. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see if it'll do it. It's not doing the way I want to do it. Forget it. Here we go. Here's another image. Another image. Look at that. Look at that. These are the things they tell us, they show us in the movies. Anything that big coming out of the sky, you got to fight it. You got to fight it. And these are the people that are on it. You know, they're showing you aliens. They're just weird looking people. Anything that doesn't look like a white Caucasian, you got to fight it. We've even set up a space force. Think about it. Think about it. Why do we have a space force? What are we fighting? These are the aliens coming out of the sky. If they don't have wings, dove-like wings and long flowing blonde hair, they're not angels. They're not angels. Look at this picture here. This is what they're trying to get you ready for. And you're saying I know you're just saying to yourself, you're like, Darrell, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? They're showing you, what are these spaceships? Why are you showing us spaceships? Look, aliens. We're always fighting aliens. We're always fighting aliens. Look at this is the alien coming out of the sky. Look, if they come out from outer space, gotta fight it. Gotta fight it. Look at this. Look at this. This is from what is it? District 9 on Netflix. Lost a little bit of my signal, but that's fine. District 9 on Netflix. Look at that. Look. Look, we're fighting aliens. We're always fighting. Our soldiers, look at, he's a soldier getting ready to fight an alien, right? Show you this one real quick. From outer space, look. You would never think that's an angel, would you? Look, they got to show us fighting our soldiers. Look, we're fighting them. Technology. We're putting our technology up against the aliens. You know? This is what they said back in the day. Any alien coming out of the sky, they're going to kill your dog. Huh? Come on, people. Where's Jesus coming from? He's coming from the sky. And you remember in Ezekiel where they talked about the circles with eyes on them? The circles with eyes? Could that very well be an unidentified flying object? A UFO, or they call them something else now. Look at our soldiers fighting the aliens. Even Stephen Hawking said, you have to assume that any kind of monster or any alien race that comes out of space is here to do us harm. They're not here to do us any good. That's from Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking said that. Go watch my video. Another alien here. Could that be an angel? Hell, if you didn't know what you were looking at, you wouldn't think that was an angel at all. If you saw a being like the one in Ezekiel, you'd be like, no, that can't be an angel. That cannot be an angel. Look, soldiers, they're getting you ready. They're getting you ready. They even got a game out here, soldiers versus aliens. Look. Soldiers versus aliens. Let's look at this. Look at this. Look. See, we understand in the truth, we understand that these are called chariots. Because didn't they say Jesus was coming back on a chariot? On a white horse, chariot, whatever you want to call it? These are chariots, according to the scriptures. Think about the circles with all the eyes on it. Think about some person back in the day, back in biblical times, seeing a vision. He saw these things. He saw them. I showed you that in Ezekiel. He said, this is what I saw. And let's say you're seeing a wheel, because we can see that these are round. We know these are round. You can tell by the graphic that it's round. And what would he call the lights? Not understanding what he was looking at. What would he call all the lights on this particular vessel? He'd call them eyes. Wouldn't he call them eyes? I think he would call these eyes. Because a man from back in biblical times wouldn't really super understand what he was looking at. Doesn't that make sense? That makes perfect sense to me. The circles with eyes, the wheels with eyes, could very well be unidentified flying objects. Or UFOs, or the things that you see in the movies. Look again. And once again, this looks like that from Star Troopers or back in the day. That movie. Our soldiers fighting aliens. Think about it. Think about it. Close Encounters of the First Kind. All the lights on these ships. What would a person who didn't understand what they were looking at, what would they call? They would call those eyes. They would call those eyes. Think about it. me bring that back up. Think about this. Look at this picture here. Look at this picture here. Take a good look at this. Let me go back over here. Look at this right here. Somebody back in the day wouldn't know what they were looking at. They'd see this and think, what's up with all these eyes? When in all actuality, they're lights. And the beings were flying next to them, were up next to them. They were going back and forth to this object here. The ancestors were looking at UFOs with aliens. How do you explain that these people are always trying to get our minds around being invaded by aliens? And in most every alien movie you watch, we are fighting them. We are fighting them. Where is Jesus coming from? He's coming from the sky. In noonday. It's in the middle of the day right here. It's in the middle of the day right there. They said Jesus is coming back in the noonday. And I would bet my eye teeth, man. I would bet $1 million to $1. $1 million to $1 that he's coming back with a bunch of angels that look like something like this. And you're going to try to fight him. Because the arrogance of the enemy believes that they can actually fight angels and the Most High God. Think about the movies you watch. Think about what they're trying to tell you. Think about what the Bible says. You could think I'm crazy. You could think whatever. And no matter if let's say they don't look exactly like that. They're going to look like black folks because angels ain't white. They're definitely not white. You know? Hell, look at these pictures of the Archangel Michael. Everybody knew back in the day that the Israelites were black. Let me show you this picture here. This is from some Russian named Yarosov, something like that. Back in the day, they knew. This is a picture of the Archangel Michael. Tell me how you get white out of that, as Deacon Nathaniel would say. How you get white out of that? Huh? Let me see if I can get to this other picture. Here's another picture. Out of the Russians knew. Look. How you get white out of that? Look at that hair. Archangel Michael. Huh? If it ain't the monstrous ones, what the cherubims are, the monstrous ones, the higher up angels, the archangels, who may have looked human-like like this, they weren't white. They weren't white. You don't get white out of that. Show you another one. What's this? How you get white out of that? That's another picture of the Archangel Michael. They damn sure didn't look like them little pretty white folks. You know? Let me see. I think I got one more in here. What's this? Oh, here's another one. Oh, no, that ain't the same one. That ain't the right one. But you get the drift. You get the drift. you definitely get the drift. So anything that doesn't look like the little cherubim, red, big cheeked, beautiful, heart playing, anything that comes out of that sky that doesn't look like that, they're going to try to fight him. I said in my video, the United States itself has over 6,000 thermonuclear warheads. 6,000. Go watch the video. There's only 500 sovereign countries on this planet, and probably only 10 or 15 that have nuclear weapons. Why do you need 6,000 thermonuclear warheads for 500 countries? Why? Because these people actually think that they can fight a God. That's my opinion. Why do we need a space force? Why do we need a space force? We don't need a space force. What are they looking for? What are we going to fight? The Empire? What is this? Star Wars? Why do we need a space force? Because I believe that they know something's coming. Think about this. You guys know what the Hubble Telescope is. They shot this thing out some years ago out into space to look for something. What are they looking for? There's satellites that surround this planet. You think it's just for telephones? You think all those satellites they have are just for telephones and television? They sent a probe, and I forgot what it's called, the Discovery or Voyager, whatever it is, some kind of Star Trek, and then they sent that thing up looking for something. Looking for, I don't know, they say we're looking for alien life. Life outside this planet. I'm sure they already know that there's life outside this planet. And I think that they're terrified. The powers that be are terrified because I think they know this Bible's real. I truly believe they know that the Most High God is sending his son back to redeem his people, and it is going to get ugly. And they're going to try to fight. They're going to try to fight Yahushua, better known as Jesus, and his host of cherubim angels. They're going to try to fight him with thousands of they're going to destroy this planet, trying to destroy Jesus and the host of angels with their four faces and mighty wings. That's what these telescopes are for. This is what all this telecommunications stuff is for. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to technologically advance themselves into surviving Armageddon with Jesus Christ. That's my opinion. The scriptures support it. I think the evidence supports it. This is why you have a bunch of alien invasion movies, and all the aliens are always what? Trying to kill us because they're trying to get us ready. And if they don't look like if they don't look like the freaking popular depictions of the angels and Jesus, they don't look like a white Jesus and a bunch of white angels. If they don't look like that, they're going to try to fight him. Because I guarantee you they're going to look exactly like Ezekiel said they looked and how the Bible says Jesus looked. And it ain't going to look like what you think. And you're going to have a bunch of Israelites, you're going to have a bunch of Jakes, a bunch of black folks trying to assist them in fighting Christ. Because we believe in white Christ. Most Israel believes in white Christ. Most of us. And we believe that angels look the way they look. We're going to think back to those movies. Oh, they're going to kill us all. Got to fight them all. And in all reality, you're fighting the Son of God. Think about it. Go back and watch that video. Think about it. I want to do one more thing. There's one more thing I want to bring up. I had it here. I had it up here. Maybe I closed it. Let me bring that back up. One more thing. And then I'm going to end it on that. Sometimes you all don't believe it until some white folks say it. So we're going to end this on a little video. I got just enough time to keep this under an hour. And we'll see what it's. We'll see what you think. Let me see. I had it up here. I don't know why I closed it. So this is about 9 minutes. It'll take us to the end, but I want you to check this out.
Angels. Even if you haven't touched the Bible, you probably have an idea on what they look like. They're those elegant, heavenly beings with long white robes, swan-like wings, and perhaps a halo on top for good measure. We also know what angel babies or cherubs look like. Those small, chubby, cute infants casting a bow and arrow. The kind of thing you might see on a Valentine's Day card. Except, well, that's not what angels actually look like. Not according to the Bible. These are biblically accurate angels. These horrifying abominations are more suited to an H.P. Lovecraft novel, not really the Bible. So what are these things? Why do they look this way? And how have we got angels so wrong? Okay, so angels come from the Old Testament, the first half of the Bible for Christians, or the whole Bible, known as the Tanakh, for Jews. The Old Testament was written down in modern-day Israel and Palestine from about the 6th century BCE to the 3rd century BCE. Although many scholars believe the biblical stories themselves are much older. We get the word angel from the Greek angelos, originally from the Hebrew word malach, which roughly translates to messenger. These messengers appear in the Old Testament a number of times. They carry God's messages from heaven and earth, and sometimes act on his behalf. For example, you might recognize the angel of death in the Passover story that slaughtered all the first sons of the Egyptians. Or perhaps the angel that struck 70,000 Israelites to death, and the angel that single-handedly killed 100.
And you notice those Israelites were white, but we know they're all black.
When they
So
appear in the Bible, they aren't described as having wings. In fact, they look like any ordinary person. In the later biblical texts, such as Daniel, some even get names: Gabriel, Raphael, and Michael. Okay, this all sounds familiar, but they're not quite the nightmare material freak abominations we saw before. The angels, known as malach, are not the only heavenly beings in the Bible. There's a hierarchy of them, and depending on who you ask, your classic humanoid angels are actually pretty far down the ladder. In the Middle Ages, a Jewish scholar known as Maimonides drew up a hierarchy of angels, and if you look here, your classic humanoid angels, the malach, are pretty low down. But not quite as low as cherubim. Forget those chubby winged angels. According to the Bible, cherubim are animal-human hybrids. The first time we see them is in the book of Genesis, right after Adam and Eve have been kicked out the garden. Their job is to guard the Garden of Eden from mankind. Our best description of cherubim comes from the book of Ezekiel. It opens with the prophet experiencing a profound vision. In his vision, Ezekiel describes them as living creatures, but they're later revealed in chapter 10 as cherubim. His account is as follows. In the middle of it was something like 4 living creatures. This was their appearance. They were of human form. Each had 4 faces, and each of them had 4 wings. Their legs were straight, and their soles of their feet were like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their 4 sides, they had human hands, and the 4 had their faces and their wings thus. Their wings touched one another. Each of them moved straight ahead, without turning as they moved. As for the appearance of their faces, the four had the face of a human being, the face of a lion on their right side, the face of an ox on their left side, and the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. Their wings were spread out above. Each creature had 2 wings, each of which touched the wing of another, while 2 covered their bodies. Each moved straight ahead. Wherever the spirit would go, they went, without turning as they went. In the middle of the living creatures, there was something that looked like burning coals of fire, like torches moving to and fro among the living creatures. The fire was bright, and lightning issued from the fire. The living creatures darted to and fro, like a flash of lightning. The cherubim don't look like your average angel. Instead, they look more like the mythical beasts in ancient Mesopotamia, especially the Babylonian Iyamasu, which has the wings of an eagle, the body of a lion, and the head of a king. These would act as guardians to sacred places like temples, or the palace, or city walls, and performed a similar role to the biblical cherubim. They look similar to their Egyptian cousin, the Sphinx, or the Hittite griffin. Many believe that these biblical angels were descendants of these mythological creatures from Mesopotamia. There would have been a lot of cultural exchange, and the same sorts of mythical creatures would crop up across these regions.
Yeah, don't believe that.
Cherubim in later Christianity
They're trying to say that
Roman
they were
myths,
created from different
borrowing
cultures,
from the
but that's
shapes
not
of
true.
Cupid or Pluto. Moving up the list, we get these guys, Seraphim. They have 6 wings, 2 used for flying, and the other pair for covering the angel's face, and a third pair for covering the angel's feet. They're described in the book of Isaiah as follows. Seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called the other and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts, and the whole earth is full of his glory. In medieval Christian theology, Seraphim is the highest choir of the angelic hierarchy. They are the caretakers of God's throne. Again, continuously singing, Holy, 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 all day, every day. So, Seraphim, their name comes from the word seraph, to burn. So Seraphim may mean something like the burning ones. Okay, well, where do they come from? Going further into Seraphim's name reveals its origins. The Hebrew word for a venomous serpent of the desert is saraph. In ancient Egypt, the cobra was often referred to as the flaming one, an image of which, called a uraeus, was worn by the pharaoh. Thus, saraph may be the Hebrew term for cobra, and perhaps where our seraphim get their winged appearance from. Now we get into the strangest beings in the Bible, the Uffhanim, or simply known as the wheels. They're a pair of interlocking gold wheels with eyes around the outside, and they hover and float in the sky. In the same vision as before, Ezekiel describes them alongside the cherubim. Quote, As I looked to the living creatures, I saw a wheel on the earth beside the living creatures, one for each of the 4 of them. As for the appearance of the wheels and the construction, their appearance was like the gleaming of beryl, and the 4 had the same form, their construction being something like a wheel within a wheel. When they moved in any of the 4 directions without veering as they moved. Their rims were tall and awesome, for the rims of all 4 were full of eyes all around. When the living creatures moved, the wheels moved beside them. And when the living creatures rose from the earth, the wheels rose. Wherever the spirit would go, they went, and the wheels rose along with them. For the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. The wheels are beings who are meant to carry God's throne, making them some of the holiest and certainly the strangest beings in the Bible. Where do these wheels come from? Well, no one really knows this one. Conspiracy theorists believe that Ezekiel is describing UFO due to its strange shape and movement. Or, perhaps, seeing that this all takes place in a trippy vision, it could be the product of the prophet ingesting a psychedelic plant.
You see what they do? You see what the enemy does?
Metaphorically, a stand-in for God's unknowability or some other, often quite elaborate interpretation. But ultimately, no one really knows much more about the wheels. They're never mentioned anywhere else. There is some confusion about whether these eldritch abominations, known as cherubim, seraphim, or Uffhanim, are really actually angels. Perhaps heavenly being is a better description of them. Whatever it may be, the Bible's view of heaven, is not the exclusive domain of these beautiful winged humanoids. If heaven is in fact real, you'll likely be spending a literal eternity alongside these winged monstrosities instead. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of this video. I enjoyed this one about angels.
All right, that's enough of that. Sometimes you gotta take some of the things they say with a grain of salt, but basically the truth is we know that the angels of the Bible don't look like the angels that popular culture has said that we should see them as.
And their creepy origins. If you want more, like, comment.
So just understand that. Just understand that. With that being said, hey, if you can't believe a white person with a British accent, you're just not trying to learn. That's what sometimes it takes a white person with a British accent to teach black folks anything. You know, black folks don't believe anything till a white person tells it to them. So if you didn't believe anything I said, believe that. But again, watch how the enemy will get on there and try to call it a bunch of stuff that it's not. Try to throw, salt in the truth, psychedelic, whatever. We know what the scriptures say. We know what they say they saw. We know this Bible is true. And we know who is the real people of the scriptures. So with that being said, use your brain, people. Get in that book and read it. Figure it out. Don't just take what I say or a white person with a British accent. Get in that book and figure it out yourself so that you can sit there and be knowledgeable about it. Not by what somebody just told you and you just run with that for the rest of your life. Get in these scriptures. Learn who you are in these scriptures. Understand the truth and stop believing just anything that these pork chop preachers and these evangelists on TV tell you. If you really want to start believing in what the scriptures say, want to understand what the scriptures say, get in it, because it's nothing like you've been taught. Nothing. And this is a perfect example. You believe that angels look a certain way and the Bible tells you something different. And then come to your own conclusions based on the evidence. So, hey, you guys have a great week. Have a great Sabbath. I hope to see you guys on the other side. I love you guys to death. We'll try to do this again. We're supposed to do a class tomorrow with the other 3 brothers for our brew school. Tune in, or once I get it done, tune in, like it, subscribe, do all that stuff with it, man. This is good stuff for you guys. This is Israelite religion 101, guys. Bible 101. Bible 101. So, and we can refer you to people who know it better than we do if you really want to get into the scriptures. So with that being said, I want to say shalom, and you guys have a great week.